Isn't this hilarious? Doesn't this just make you realize that Burger King is just another loony little guy like us?
I'm a little guy. My hands are little, my features are small, my shoulders slope down, I'm a little guy.
What's the soup, guys? Today we're gonna talk about how big brands are using social media to try to trick us into thinking that, hey, they're just one of us, and totally not faceless corporate enterprises that would kill us off if it meant a better performing Q3 on their earnings report. So I was thinking of making this video because a while back when the Jeff Bezos space company, I think it's Deep Blue, I forget the name, decided to send off Katy Perry into space, this caused a lot of backlash and just people feeling like it was such a weird move on Jeff Bezos' part to send Katy Perry, a very much old news pop star from the 2010s, up to space. So much so that it led to this tweet coming out from Wendy's and it getting a huge reaction from everyone online, including a lot of publications and press in general. They got me to thinking that this is kind of normal now, and that's kind of weird. I mean, for the longest time before the Twitter era, and even for a big chunk of the Twitter era, brands were very calculated and serious when it came to their public image. So much so that I remember in early YouTube, Nintendo sued Smosh for karaokeing, or I guess karaokeing to one of their songs, or not even karaokeing. They were just pretending to sing the Pokemon theme song, which was one of the first viral videos of all time. If you don't know about it, here it is. I feel like social media and just brands, PR people were very serious. And so much so, I think that there's great sketches by SNL, like the one that Donald Glover or Childish Gambino does for Barbie, which is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. That somewhere along the road, things totally changed. And I tried to do a little bit of research into it, and there's a lot of different things that could have started this sassy mascot or this sassy Twitter creation that gave way to modern day sassy brands. But the one that comes to mind is, I think in 2013 or 2014, it was actually in the 2013 Super Bowl, where there was this big power outage that lasted about 34 minutes that left the stadium in darkness for a bit, that Oreo decided to capitalize on the situation and tweet out a photo of, this one, which is power out, no problem. You can still dunk in the dark, which kind of gave way to brands being reactive immediately to popular events or popular things happening in real time. And I think that kind of opened the floodgates to brands commenting on things happening. And then that led to them wanting to seem more and more approachable to the younger generations, to get kids and young adults to want to buy their products or eat at their restaurants. And I think realistically, besides that one Oreo tweet that went viral, because I don't think anything really goes viral anymore, there was two culprits of this big shift in social media presence for brands or big brands. And I think that's Duolingo and Wendy's, that both kind of took the helm and started just tweeting out very not safe for work, or I guess it's not that it's not safe for work, but just very not your grandpa's tweet kind of presence or tweets or Facebook posts. I think you can tell specifically with Duolingo that they've always been very quirky. There was a time where everyone was getting very ominous updates or very ominous push notifications from Duolingo that said come back or else or stuff like that. And then Duolingo kind of capitalized on that and turned these ominous push notification viral screenshot moments into their official logo and their official mascot reenacting these things. I also remember later on when Twitter switched to X that they put up this total roast to make fun of Twitter, to show that they're the top bird. I don't know. I just think that all of these things, when they were new and they were novelty, I kind of really messed with and I liked. I was like, oh, this is funny, this is cute. But then the more it's happening, the more dystopian it feels. It just feels like every time they're trying to make us forget that they're these huge corporations and not your local meme lord just there to make you laugh. And then also with Wendy's, I mean, the most recent one I can think of was, again, the Katy Perry one, but here's a bunch of other examples. And, they've gone after McDonald's in the past and Burger King, and they've always been very the sassy brand in the playground. I even remember in early Instagram, there was a Slim Jim account, which I never figured out at the time if it was an actual meme account or if it was Slim Jim's official account. It turns out it was Slim Jim's official account. But I remember following Slim Jim's official account just because of how unorthodox their approach to social media media was at the time. And most recently, I don't know if you remember the Italian brain rot characters that took over the internet for a whole of 2 weeks, that for some reason my algorithm started putting Spain's KFC account, which also is just dystopian. It seems like a brain rot account made purely to make fun of KFC. But from what I gather, it's their official account. I might be wrong. If someone knows, point it out. It seems like this is becoming more of the norm, you know, as Gen Z goes into the labor force and even Gen Alpha starts going into the labor force, that these brands are trying to capitalize on the more loose approach that they have to both social media and reality. And that's not to say that this is 100% completely new. I think that brands have always been trying to capitalize on youth culture. I remember specifically back in the day, Pizza Hut did a pair of sneakers that if you clicked the button, it ordered pizza for you. And I remember I really wanted those sneakers. And then I also remember they had, I think it was also Pizza Hut that had the slice reheater up thing situation. I'm going to put it somewhere up in the screen that basically heated up your pizza using your gaming console. Not that I'm saying that these brands are new to this or have never before tried to tap into youth culture. I mean, that's basically why the McDonald's playground was created, to trick kids into getting their parents to take them to McDonald's. But I think, again, just this new approach is getting more and more disingenuous and, again, just dystopian. And I guess even it works on me, who I'm someone who I think tries to be self-critical of not letting these like brands into my algorithm without my consent. But whoever's running these accounts now gets them by and gets them into my feed and gets me liking them and sharing them, which is, I guess, what they want. I think it's also something that whoever is running social media accounts now grew up with, right? Because I think of a great example, which is like that viral YouTube clip that's Burger King foot lettuce.
Number 15. Burger King foot lettuce.
And I know for a fact I couldn't get Burger King foot lettuce out of my head for the longest time. And again, it was very brain rotty and it seemed like cursed content from the internet. But since it got so much traction and people couldn't stop quoting it, I think that these new managers or social media account managers decided to kind of emulate that same energy of cursed content. And if it's not cursed content, then it's like that totally sassy clapback culture of Twitter that just gets a lot of reactions and retweets and even maybe an article here or there on some BuzzFeed or Huffington Post situation. More realistically, BuzzFeed. And something that kind of like made me even think more about this is I saw this Instagram reel or TikTok about these guys kind of emulating what it must feel like to work at these companies or on these companies' social media departments and then just having to out-sass each other every time.
Okay, he ate with that. Investing at 50 likes.
Honestly, I couldn't agree more. I just can't think of a better way that these pitch meetings would go. It's either that or it's the Donald Glover or Childish Gambino situation where they just get someone who's really out there or just very, I just did that kind of people wanting to emulate that. Also, this is nothing to do with brand mascots, but I don't know if you guys saw also that like tweet by the Irani military, who apparently whoever's running the Irani military account also has a Sabrina Carpenter fan account. And instead of tweeting through that account, they accidentally tweeted through their Irani military account, which that must be the worst way to slip up. It's like when a politician accidentally retweets porn. I just kind of want to talk about this and say, I don't really have a take on this. It's just kind of more something I've observed. And I don't know what I prefer. I think maybe this new wave, but not so in your face and not so cringe and not so disingenuous where it's like you're clearly trying to make us forget that you're pumping the cheapest worst chemicals into our body so that we enjoy a self-loathing afternoon with a box of Oreos. But also not just a boring account where it's basically throwing up promos and additions to their recipe or changes to their recipe. I think something that was really creative too was a while back, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, put out Soap Opera with Mario Lopez where he was the Colonel. I think that was also just a really creative way to get people to notice your brand online. I think that it even turned into a Hallmark movie after it got enough traction traction. I think the Hallmark movie sucked and they kind of like weren't in on the joke at that point anymore. Where it feels like, you know, when Morbius, where everyone was shooting out It's Morbin time, and since it had done so bad in the box office the first weekend or the first trial at the box office, they thought that since it had garnered enough internet memeability that they could throw it back up on theaters and people would flock to it, only for them to bomb in the theater again. It even had like Jared Leto like pretending to be on the joke, saying, having a script for Morbius 2 and it's saying Morbius 2 It's Morbing time or something, which I think that's where it just gets lame, you know, when it's like you shouldn't be on the joke. I mean, I feel like, and this is my hot take, I guess, it should feel like you're the teacher and we're the students and we're like snickering in the back of the class and you're like trying to keep your authority, you know, because I feel like if you do that and if it does feel like that, then it's like fun for us, the consumers and the users. Other way around, it just feels like, all right, yeah, kind of took her fire away from us. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, send this video to your ex-landlord, to your shoemaker, and to Amy Schumer. I don't know what's she up to. What's she up to these days? Haven't heard about her in a long time. Anyway, peace.